Show with Iris. Show with Iris. Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Buddy. This one is beyond the pale. Okay? This one it's outside of anything in the real world. That's what this one was. Okay? Here's what we're going to do. Question it all. Question it all. Nothing's off limits. You don't get to do this without consequences. You don't get to do this without consequences. This one is bigger than just tonight. There are big picture issues. There's small picture issues. You want to go after it? Go after it. You want to question Freeman? Question Freeman. You want to question the talent? Question the talent. You want to question Parker? Question Parker. This one is out of bounds. This one's out of bounds. You couldn't have this one. It couldn't be this. It couldn't be this. So, wherever you got to go, wherever you got to take it, wherever you're at in your mind, whatever you need to do it. Everything's on the table. Everything's on the table. You want to yell at me because I like Freeman? Go for it. It's all fair game tonight, people. Wherever you need to bring it, bring it. It's all fair, you guys. This was an absolute, complete meltdown, top to bottom, everybody involved. Nothing's good enough. Nothing's good enough. Nothing's close to good enough. It's all unacceptable. That's the worst part about this, you guys. It's all on the table now. That's why this one hurts. That's why this one hurts, because it isn't just, oh, you lost on the last play and we're going to whatever and this and then you can make excuses and you can rationalize it. That ain't what this was. That ain't what this was, and it really gets to me. It's all on the table. That's the worst part of this is you just opened up a can of worms, and I don't know how you're going to shove them all back in the can. You just, this unlocked a whole hallway where every door is another problem. Every door you open, you see something you don't like. Every door you knock on and you open it, it's something else that isn't good enough and it ain't even close to good enough. None of it is good enough. Undisciplined, penalties, tackling, the offensive line, the play calling, the execution, the turnovers, the head coach, all the coordinators, all of it. It's everything. It's everything. You just unlocked an onslaught of nightmare problems and questions that I can't even wrap my mind around this moment. That's the bigger picture here. The small picture is tonight. The bigger picture is this performance allows all of the questions that come in here about all of it to be perfectly fair and justified. That is the worst part of this. This is not just about tonight. You unlocked questions everywhere, and they're all legitimate. They're all legitimate. The problem is, where do you go to fix this? Nothing's good enough. Nothing is good enough. They don't wrap up. They don't tackle. They don't block. They're undisciplined. The offense gets worse every time you see them. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know how you fix that. That's the other problem. It's everything. It's everything. And you know what? I'm going to credit Louisville, man. You knew it was a hornet's nest. You knew they were worked up. You knew they were fired up, and they went out and played great. They pushed Notre Dame around all freaking night. All night. And there's no excuses. I don't want to hear anybody dare say, oh, well, it's a tough 4-game stretch and, you're in the middle of this tough. No, you can't do that, bro. You got away using that one last week against Duke coming off Ohio State. You don't. This is failure. This is F- failure across the board. Absolutely brutal. Question it all. It's all available, and you need answers. You need answers. This can't be, oh, shucks, we lost, and whatever. It can't be that. That's the other thing, you guys. The kid gloves are off all of this. See, what I'm struggling with is processing this game and where it fits in the big picture. Everything's on the table. Everything. There needs to be tough questions asked, and you need to get real answers. It's unacceptable. So yell at me, do whatever you need to do. I'm telling you guys this right now, though. I know all the Notre Dame people in here, there's a lot of people from everywhere else that are running their mouths. All the Notre Dame people in here know. I know we're all miserable and upset. Don't say the F word on the phones or I'm dropping you. It's no offense. It doesn't mean we're not friends. It doesn't mean not call again. I'm just asking you, you can yell all you want, but don't use the F word. I'm going to drop you. And it's nothing personal. Just try and respect that, please. Please. I am at a total loss. This is everything. It's everything across the board. So thank you for being here. I guess half the people in here just want to see me miserable. So you're going to get your wish. You're going to get your wish. Half of these people are here just to see me blow my stack. Well, guess what? It's Christmas. You're going to get your wish. Unbelievably unacceptable across the board. Just absolute failure. Question it all. Head coach, all the assistants, just all of it. All of it. Question all of it. Pat?
It was so bad. That game was so bad.
Where do you start, Pat? It's all so bad. Where do you start?
Parker. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, thinking that he just ran into two really good defenses. For everything we've seen and known about Louisville, they're not a really good defense, but they just said, let's blow up the middle of the offensive line. They just shot gaps through the middle of the offensive line. Notre Dame never made an adjustment to that. They never put a tight end in the backfield to pick up a block. They never tried on anything to they would run the ball outside with their slowest running back. They would run the ball inside with their skinniest running back. It was just terrible. It was terrible. I've never seen so many third and shorts get blown up that way. It just constantly blown up. I couldn't believe I was actually at a point watching third and short, and I'm like, they're not going to get this. Who's number 3? Was that Love? That was every time I saw him in the field, I was like, I know something bad's going to happen. It was just terrible. I never want to see Leo Fowl again. I finally learned how to say his name because he was atrocious. He looked lost.
He's always near the ball, but nothing ever happens.
Never.
He's always
and I'm not
in
even
the
talking
screen,
about.
but it never touches anything.
I'm not even talking about the penalty that pretty much ended the game. When he had the face masking penalty, I thought that penalty is an example of football in general that I hate. A penalty away from the play that has nothing to do with the play should never get called. That should just be it shouldn't get called unless there is something that is somebody's doing something absolutely egregious. He wasn't doing anything egregious. He was getting double teamed by two guys. I hate those penalties. I don't care if Notre Dame did it or someone else did it, but still, he was awful all night. He looked lost the entire game. I couldn't. Every time he was on the field, I just every time he was near the play, I was like, dear God, what's he gonna do now?
But Pat, nothing's good enough. That there's nothing really to lean on. They don't tackle, they don't wrap up, they're undisciplined. The offense gets worse every week. The coaching decisions get worse every week. Pat, they're getting worse. They're not getting better. They're getting worse. I need answers. I need answers. It can't be another week of. It's just like, oh, well, we didn't get it done. There has to be like consequences for this. And I don't know what they are. I don't know what you can do. But this one can't just be like, whatever, we'll get them next week. You need something. There's some tough questions that have to be answered here.
Someone put it in the chat that Notre Dame was exposed through the OSU and the Duke game, and Louisville just used that against them. And Notre Dame never made an adjustment. Never tried once to make any sort of adjustment offensively to what Louisville was doing defensively. No, I don't know what Notre Dame's receivers are doing. Nobody tries to make a move except the tight end. You finally get Tyree loose. He drops the ball. I know it's slightly behind him. You got it. There's no excuse. You got to catch that ball. That is a touchdown turning point in the game. Then you get the one kid that nobody's ever heard of out there scoring a touchdown, and then they take him off the field. They don't put him back in the rest of the game. Did he get hurt? I don't know, but he's not out there. And I'm just like, what are you doing? You keep rolling. You're trying to run dive plays with a 230-pound running back or a 210-pound running back. It doesn't matter who the running back is, but you have no lead blocker. You are literally playing 11 on 9. They were playing 11 on 9. Notre Dame would have 9 guys on the line of scrimmage, and Louisville would have 11 guys on the line of scrimmage, and you would run into that. What the hell are you thinking?
How?
Pop the tight end out and throw it over the top. What are you thinking?
Pat, in what world does Notre Dame have 44 rushing yards against Louisville? Like, there are big, big problems. I know they had 3 different offensive lineups out there in the first half. Like, I know they had problems. 44 yards against Louisville. Like, when I say question everything, I literally mean everything. And it cannot just be, we'll get them better this next week. Like, this is off the map. Like, it's so unacceptable on the bad end. It's not even charting on the map. It's beyond.
The thing that bothers me the most was I don't think Louisville is that good of a football team. I think Duke's a better football team than Louisville. I think Notre Dame just shit the bed. They just shit the bed. They came out flat on offense. Here's my thing. If you take Leofau out of the defense and you take Benjamin Morrison tackling, I think Benjamin Morrison is probably one of the top 5 cover corners in college football. I truly believe that. That guy cannot tackle. I can break his tackles. I have seen more people run through his tackles than any other player in the defense. Leofau, he's just off somewhere else. That's why he doesn't get that award. But he just cannot tackle. But you take those two things and Bothello. As soon as Bothello came on, they had some other guys playing on at the end. that I thought were playing well. As soon as Bothell came back in the second half because of his penalty last week, I that edge was no longer set, and they started running outside. And so that was another one. I don't understand why you're running this kid on the field. He is not doing what he's supposed to do. Take those three things out of there. I thought the defense played a really good football game. They just can't do everything. They can't be on the field constantly throughout the second half. They just can't. And if you put your defense in that situation, you're going to get exactly what you get. If you put your defense in a situation where the offense is starting on the their own 35-yard line, they're going to score easily. You cannot put your defense in that situation. And that's why their defense gives up so many points. Not because they played bad, but because the coaching staff did not put them in a position to win.
The other problem I have is, and we're going to go to the callers. Everybody, we got a lot of them. Get to your main points. Try and not use the F word. Get to your points. Like, I want to let a bunch of people let their emotion out.
Do not use the F words.
And here's the other thing, Pat. We knew that Louisville was pumped up, undefeated. This was their Super Bowl. You didn't come close to matching their emotion or intensity all game. You never, I thought maybe early on they needed to get roughed up a little bit and get into it and get the juices going. They never, ever, ever came close to matching what Louisville brought to the table with intensity, being ready to play, being fired up. They didn't even come close to it at all. They look like zombies on the sideline. Let's go.
I think the defense did in the first half. They did a good job against them in the first half. The offense was not there. All game, the offense was not there.
The start was the worst start you could have in this environment.
No,
you had a turnover, and then you got sliced and diced by Navy's option right down the field. It was just the worst start you could have. Yeah, that's the other thing. Alton Fisher, you better come back next year. You better just come on back and get better at your craft.
Yeah, what that guy did to Alt was embarrassing. Alt should look at that. And
all right, Pat. People want to yell, so this.
Go ahead.
Geez, this is gonna be a rough one. 224. I'm afraid to take the call, but you're on the air.
Hey, John, why would Joe Alt come back? I mean, to play with coaches that don't know what they're doing. I mean, honestly, I really was with you on your preamble speech until you said that Louisville, it was their Super Bowl and they played their best game. It's like this is an average ACC team. It really is. I mean, I guarantee they'll have 2 or 3 losses by the end of this thing.
Yeah,
this is a slow move into mediocrity. So, I mean, thank you. I mean, it's amateur hour. This is what happens when you have a amateur head football coach who hires his good friend to be the offensive coordinator. We can sit here and lament about how we didn't get Andy Ludwig, but he was hardly the only coach that you possibly hires as offensive coordinator. So this is what you get. I mean, honestly, and I hate to be like I told you so, but I've been saying this since I don't know, since February, whenever I started calling in to talk about it. This is what you get. This is what you get. It's almost like if you're in any profession, whether you're in medicine or law or science or anything, it's like there are very few people that can just be savants and just be great at what they do at the very beginning of their career. You got to value experience. And then this is what happens when you have a totally inexperienced coaching staff. We were more talented at every position other than maybe that guy Thrash or whatever, the wide receiver who Morrison had to cover. We were more talented at every position, but they were better coached. They were a much better coach team, and this is what happened.
For the second or third week in a row. Second or third week in a row, you could say that. Because I think that happened last week, too. I think it happened last week, too.
So we get out-coached 3 weeks in a row, and it's like we're acting like this is not a surprising result. And Pat, in all honesty, to be calling out the defense, like it's just like it's ridiculous. It's like the defense has to carry the team for the entire season.
Wait a second. Wait. I'm pretty sure
the complete opposite of what I said.
Pat just said you can't put it on the defense to have to be perfect all the time.
I know. He said that as a as a thing just to throw out, but he leads with Maris Leofau is, stinks or whatever. It's just like, maybe he does. I'm not going to.
Did you think he played a good game?
But you know what?
You think Leofau played a good game? Did Leofau play a good game?
You know what I will say? He's non-consequential. What it really came down to was the fact that our offensive coordinator and Marcus Freeman don't know how to run an offense. And you know what? You know why? And I'm really sick of people saying that we don't have talent at wide receiver because, I used to be in that camp, but I've been for the last few weeks. And John, I hope you back this up. I've been saying, I think there might be a scheme situation going on here that makes our wide receivers so inconsequential. And you know what backs that up? I watched the Texas-Oklahoma game. Who was the main wide receiver in the end that led Oklahoma to a victory was Bob Stoops' little son. Little son. It was Bob Stoops' son, who doesn't even look like he should be playing Division I football, is catching passes over the middle against a legit legit top 5 football team in Texas. It's like, you know what? Actually, if you've got a good offensive coordinator, you can scheme Bob Stoops' little 5'9" son open. So it's like we got a real problem on our hands. And to your point, John, this is not going to get fixed in a week. It's like we've got a serious coaching problem.
That's the issue,
and I think
man.
There's something to be said about experience.
That was the next thing I was going to say to you. Beyond just how bad this singular performance was, it's more disturbing to me because when you do this, now you opened up the door to all the other big picture questions. And like you're saying, I don't know how you fix some of this stuff now. Look at what you got coming next week. Like whatever, that's the issue. So one is, I don't know how you're going to limp through the rest of this season. And then number 2 is, after this season, whatever it's going to turn into, there are some big time decisions that have to be made. Andrew, it's all on the table, man. You could question anything, call out anything, and I can't say it's not fair to ask about. You could anything, Freeman, any of the assistants, any of it. It's all fair, man. I can't defend any of it. You can't do this. And you knew what you were walking into. You knew what this environment was, and you didn't come close to being able to match it.
See, I appreciate you saying that, John. And honestly, I'm a big supporter of yours, man. I've been with you for 3 or 4 years.
Andrew, I have to say that. I have to say it. You don't get to do this. And then I say, because I like Freeman's personality, you can't go after him. Everything's on the freaking table tonight, people.
I think he stinks. I think he does not know in-game coaching. I think I sent you a message and I said, hey, they're comparing him to Mario Cristobal. He's a really good recruiter. He does generally have tough teams, but he lacks in-game coaching. He's been out-coached in the last 3 football games by guys who, I mean, come on, man. It's not like Mike Oko is like Nick Saban or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, he's a good coach, but he's been a head football coach for 2 years. Jeff Grom is like a coach who's got a good offensive mind, but it wasn't like he lit up the world at Purdue. He had one big upset at Ohio State. That was like his calling card. It's like we're getting out coached by like regular college football coaches.
Yeah, it's all fair.
It goes back to the mat of, hey, listen, I wanted to sit it out. Like, I get that when Brian Kelly left, I get that was shocking, and like this groundswell of Marcus Freeman was huge. He's a great personality and stuff like that. But whenever you let players and fans hire your football coach, this is what you get. This is what you get. I wanted Luke Fickell, and you can say Luke Fickell ain't the guy, like he ain't this big personality, but I promise you, he took Cincinnati, a non-Power 5 team, and made them into a Final Four team. And like Wisconsin, they did lose 1 game this year, but I promise you they're going to be a really decent team. And it just makes like experience matters. It matters so much. I don't care what anybody says. I am in sales. I'm an executive in sales, and like there's always a flavor of the month. But the people that really stick around are the ones that are really experienced. They really know what they're doing.
All right, but that horse is out of the barn now.
Couldn't get there.
But even if I say, okay, you're right on that one, it looks tonight, and there's no way to deny that horse is out of the barn. So like I get what you're saying,
why hire your buddy? Why hire your buddy?
Oh, I know why. Wait, there's a really good answer to that.
You lose out on Andy Ludwig. You lose out on Andy Ludwig, and you hire your buddy.
That's exactly what happened.
You want to save face and make a hire real quick.
That's exactly what happened.
No, you keep at it. You keep at it. What happened with Greg Roman? What happened with Joe Moorhead? You know, go out and hire somebody who knows what they're doing. You don't hire a guy who's never called me play.
I don't know this. Yeah. I don't know this for a fact, but what it felt like to me is the Ludwig thing blew up. The whole thing was on fire. And the easiest thing to do to save face and put it to bed.
Easiest thing.
Was, yeah. And I'm admitting that. And it was not an ideal situation. But the problem is we're in the middle of the shit now. We are. I mean, we're in the middle of it now. And life doesn't get any easier. So, Andrew, I don't know. There are big picture and small picture questions. It's all fair. I can't defend Freeman. I can't defend anything. It's all on the table. Andrew, your final thoughts. Go ahead, man. Thank you for starting us off. Thank you for the donation, buddy, too.
Hey, my pleasure, and I love you, John. And Pat, I always come at you, but I just disagree with you fundamentally sometimes. And I just think at the end of the day, experience matters, and we're paying for it. You can't, there's no silver bullet, and there's no, like, just because someone is a good recruiter, good recruiters are a dime a dozen. And I really have to challenge you here, John. I know you love trolling Brian Kelly, but Brian Kelly doesn't lose this type of game. He does not lose it. This 30-game win streak against the ACC was started because of Brian Kelly.
He just lost this game to Ole Miss.
For all of his faults. Hold on. Let me just finish. For all of his faults that he couldn't win the big game, he beat teams like Louisville like a drum. Come on. This team is not going to factor in at the end of the season. I promise you that. They are a patchwork transfer team. They're Jack Clark. It's a guy that it's been transferring all around. I mean, come on, experience matters. That's all I have to say, and that we're paying for it. We don't have the experience on the coaching staff. We have the talent on the field, though. And so I hope a lot of callers try to say it's the wide receivers. No, they're not scheming these dudes open. Look at Bob Stoops' son. Bob Stoops' son is a 5'9" white guy who got open against Texas and won the game for them. So don't tell me it's about talent, please. That's all I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for the donation, man.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Have a good one. We're going to go to 765 next with the big donation, biggest one of the night. Thank you very much. You're on the air.
John. Oh, man. I thought Ohio State was bad.
Yeah, you know what?
I've got a litany of things.
It's a different kind of bad. You know what I mean? It's a totally, like, not all losses are the same, and they don't all feel the same, and the recipe that goes into them isn't all the same. This one is totally different and way more alarming in a lot of different areas. Thank you for the donation. Go ahead and go through your list of complaints. That's what we're here for tonight.
Well, I've got a litany of things I could go through. You know, our tackling. You know, I don't know what happened to Hartman tonight. And what the hell is Parker? Tommy Reese 2.0. But here's what I really want to know. Is Pat drinking a Guinness?
I don't know what he's drinking. He needs to. He looks like he needs to. Yeah, we're drinking water. We're in too bad of a mood. And you know what else, too, man? Listen, I'm just going to say this. All of our guys seemed a little out of it today. I didn't think Hartman looked like himself. He looked a little kind of out of it. Freeman looked a little out of it. I don't know what was going on. Nobody on Notre Dame's side came close to matching the moment compared to what Louisville brought. And it was physicality, energy, all of it, man. Couldn't match it. Go ahead and get into it. What are you mad about?
Well, you hit the nail on the head several times. O-line,
Nope.
BS.
Nope. 44 yards.
I
44
agree with
yards.
you. Yeah, we put a few guys in.
44.
We put a few guys in the NFL, and we're all on you.
Yeah,
dude. They don't show up on games that they should show up on. They were, Louisville was undersized. We should have been pushing them around. They were pushing us around. I mean, our guys were on our backs. How many times? How many times?
Listen, how do you explain Notre Dame getting totally out physicaled and bullied on both sides of the ball by this Louisville team all night? Number one is you got to credit Brom, and I will, and credit their players. I definitely will. They deserve that. They beat the crap out of us, and they deserve that. However, it is extremely disturbing to me. We got bullied. We got pushed around on both sides of the ball all night and had no answers, no pivot, no nothing. It's beyond unacceptable. This is the worst case scenario because you just opened up a nightmare of problems that are big picture, and I don't know the way out. I
agree with you totally. I don't have any answers either, John. That's why we hire coaches.
But
and,
I mean, where do you go?
Know what the hell they're doing.
Dude, where do you go from here? That's what I'm really struggling with. Is I don't even know where the pivot is. Like, I don't even know what you could do. You have no offensive identity. Forget that. The defense plays good enough at times, but then don't have their spots. It's all a mess, and it's not getting better, dude. I was open to the Ohio State's a good defense. Duke's a top 10 defense. I was open to understanding that. This one's out of bounds, man. This one, there is no rationalizing or justifying this one. It's totally out of bounds. It's off the map, and it can't be that at this point.
I agree totally. They were just, and you got to give Louisville credit. They come to play. They had those guys hyped up. The crowd was hyped up, but I don't know, John. I don't have any answers. I just want to donate and just give my little bit of, input here. I'm not an X's and O guy. I'm not like Andrew Gilmore that watches this stuff and, can go that deep into this stuff. I really can't, but I'm learning. I want to get that deep into it. But I'm telling you, man, this is just wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This one.
I mean, that's all you can say is wow.
This one changes things. Like I'm trying to kind of toe the line between tonight and the immediacy of it and the bigger picture. It's really upsetting. There are a lot of things that became exposed tonight that really need to be addressed. And the thing is, as much as I love Freeman's personality and the recruiting and all that, I love it all. There's some tough questions coming that guy's way, and he's going to have big decisions to make in this season and after this season. None of this is good enough. None of it is. And that includes Freeman and the decision-making and getting the guys ready and whatever, man. It is. I mean, this is as bad as it gets. It genuinely is. This is as bad as it gets.
Yeah, but here's what I want to say to Andrew. Don't tell me that Kelly wouldn't lose this game because he lost to Southern Florida and some other teams that he shouldn't have lost to, and everybody gave him a pass. And I know Freeman's got some tough questions, and they should. He needs to answer some of these, and we don't need any BS from him from the podium. He needs to answer these things straight up. I mean, none of this, But, John, here's my last thing I want to get to, and then I'll let you go because I know you got tons of calls. What are we going to do next year? I know you don't want to go there. But what are we going to do next year when we have to go down to freaking Texas A&M for our opener when we can't even put 11 guys on the field and they got 12 men? Thanks, man. Bye.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that was good. Thanks for the donation. That was pretty good. Yeah, thank you for the donation. And then he dipped out, too. That was pretty good.
I know. It was a mic drop moment. I liked it.
Yeah, I just I can't even think about what's coming next year right now. Like we have enough problems. We have enough going on right now.
I'm not worried about next year. I'm not even worried about USC. I got to go play golf tomorrow morning with a bunch of people that hate Notre Dame. So I'm going to hear it left and right.
Good luck.
And it's going to be 40 freaking degrees outside.
Let's bring Adam up. What's going on, Adam?
Darling.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
I think this is. I'm more angry now than I've been, even after Marshall last year. I'm just furious. It is just everything is just bad.
It's everything. It's everything. It's everything. It really is, Adam. That's the problem. There's problems with everything, man. All of it. None of it's good enough, and it's not even close.
You know, I want to come on here and blame the ACC refs for the face mask and they didn't review the next play where that ball obviously hit the ground and they ran and
hit the ground. And wasn't
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
Because John, I've been known even at our tailgate party as Mr. Negative, and I've been telling you for weeks. I've been telling you for weeks. We've been losing the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
We've been, Central Michigan didn't look good. Really, NC State was about to tie the game in the fourth quarter, and we got a bunch of, they busted their defense plays in that second half to make that look bad. We have not looked great. We have not.
Yeah, we look worse.
Our coaches.
We look worse, Adam.
We've been out-coached. We've been out-coached 3 games in a row. I love this coaching staff. I love the guys. I think they're great guys. I think they're perfect for Notre Dame. But they have been worse the last 3 games. Worse.
Yeah, Adam, that's a big problem because they're trending the wrong way. Like, it's one thing if you have one bad week or one struggle or whatever, but when you start stringing them together and you're losing the coaching matchups, you don't have adjustments, you don't have pivots, it's everything, dude. That offense has 0 rhythm. There's no flow. There's no nothing. It's getting worse the more we see. And I don't know the way out, Adam.
Yeah.
I don't know the way
they're
out.
Getting worse.
It doesn't get any easier.
They're getting worse. I don't believe it for a minute. First of all, I text you and tweeted with you with this in the beginning. If Rico, I like Rico, but he's like a slot receiver. He's quick in small spaces. He cannot be our field outside guy where he started the game tonight. He can't be. And if Merriweather can't be that, then it's got to be Greathouse. It's got to be somebody. I don't believe – this offensive coordinator, I know the offensive line played like crap tonight, but the offensive line is better than average. Our running backs are good. Our receivers, yeah, they're probably average or below. But that's no excuse for 14, 21, and really, if you want to be honest, tonight was 13.
Yeah.
They're not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. You have real issues. And the other thing is,
this is the worst offense I can remember in a long time.
But Adam, what do you do about that? What do you do about that when you have a defensive head coach?
There's nothing you can do now.
That's the problem because you got a defensive-minded head coach who's also learning on the job, and then you could look at Parker and now tell he's drowning, and he has no pivot if option 1 doesn't work. There's no pivot.
So what are we in? Game 7? You don't change this now. This is who you are.
I have no idea. I have no idea. Adam, what is our identity on offense?
No.
What do we do? What do you do, Adam? You don't run the ball. You can't consistently throw. What does Notre Dame? You can't even see, Adam. Sometimes a team will have a bad offensive game, and you could say, I actually see what they were trying to do, but it was execution, or I could see the vision. There's no plan. Yeah. I feel like Parker is drowning. And it's really frustrating because I see some exciting players running around out there, but none of it's coming together.
God, this against the Power 5 teams we've played, let's be honest, the NC State game was starting off really bad too. We got a bunch of them busting coverages to get those plays. That offensive performance wasn't good. And if we're going to throw, let's be honest, you're throwing jump balls to Rico Flores to start to be, that should be, Merriweather is a deep guy, throw jump balls. I know he's not played great yet, but I feel like the coaches haven't put him in the best position either. He's a down the field jump ball guy. He's not, Rico Flores is opposite of him. Like, it's just, the whole thing's an absolute disaster. You're not changing it. You're almost better off right now running it 3 times and punting it. I mean, honestly,
man,
that's where it is.
I just, Adam, I'm really struggling to see like a short-term patch, like a little fix to get us through. Like, I don't know what it is right now. Like,
No.
I have no idea what you could even
Nobody
try and do.
respects us, John. They don't respect our pass game at all, to where they're just loading it up. They're like, hey, Sam Hartman, your receivers beat us. And I know I've tweeted this at you and texted you this from the Ohio State Duke game on. I'm like, every team is going to do the same thing.
Man,
they're all going to do the same thing.
I don't even know. I don't even know where you start, Adam. I don't know where you start. And the other issue is, okay, Ohio State, big environment. Going to Duke, big road environment, and you got by the skin of your teeth on that one. Now this one, you weren't up for the moment. What's the vibe going to be like going into this week on the Notre Dame side? Like, that doesn't help either for what's coming. Life can get a lot worse before it gets a lot better.
Yeah, and what the hell's going on today? USC was just down 17-0. I think they just scored, but they were losing too tonight.
Man, I'm just this, Adam. The big issue is this is off the chart. Like, this is off the map of like having a bad night or whatever. Like, this is such an outlier that it brings in huge big picture problems, like all of them, big picture concerns all over. Ask whatever you want. It's just bad.
The coaching, I'm sorry, John, and I hate to say it because I love Marcus. I love these new guys. I like the vibe they have at Notre Dame, but the coaching staff lost us the Ohio State game. They were outcoached last week, and they were outcoached again. I mean, I know we were down. We were down 10 points, but you don't go for it in your own end. You punt the ball. We have a good defense.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Yeah. Well,
Marcus, come on.
You know what I think that could have been? I'll give Andrew Gilmore this one. I'm sure he agrees. Maybe what you saw there was a little bit of Freeman's frustration from that Ohio State game, and then from Duke, and then all the circumstances here. And I think you saw Freeman kind of acquiesce to some of that frustration he's had and want to feel like he had to go for it and do all that. And listen, you guys,
okay,
but for Andrew, Adam, whoever, listen, I like Freeman. I can't defend any of this. It's not going to offend me if anybody wants to call in and go, what the hell's Freeman doing? Is this under control? Because it doesn't look like it. Listen, I can't defend him on this. It's not going to offend me if you question it. I mean, I deserve that, and so does Marcus. Not even close to being good enough. Not even freaking on the – you're miles from this looking anything like it needs to look. It's unbelievably brutal. Oh.
No, when you have Sam Hartman, and on most nights a pretty damn good offensive line and a loaded running back room and a average at best receiver room, there's still no excuse for 13, 21, 13. There's zero excuse. It's just that is just in college football. You should that is an absolute embarrassment offensively. And John, you know what worries me more than anything? And I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna get off because I know you got a lot of callers.
Yeah, go be nice to your wife. Go be nice to your wife. She doesn't deserve this, Adam.
Oh, no.
You know how we are. You know how we are. Go be nice to your damn wife. Good for her. Good for her.
But this is what worries me, because I knew all along this team was never a championship team. It was not a championship team yet. We weren't going to be there. The schedule is unbelievable, something BK never dealt with. But what worries me to death is the negative recruiting that's going to be coming. That's going to say, Cam Williams, you want to play in that offense?
Well,
Deuce Knight, you want to play in that offense?
That's a whole nother set of problems.
That's what scares me.
That's a whole nother set of problems, man. When you do that, Adam, when you do this, you open and you welcome in all the problems that a program could have, big picture and
John,
small.
when you watch college football,
they're all
all
there
day,
now. They're all there.
Teams, You watch these teams play all day. They don't play like Notre Dame plays.
Nope.
There's nobody plays offense like that.
Adam, did you think
and
we
I want
looked
to know if
slow?
that's Freeman.
Notre Dame looked like they were in slow motion all night on both sides of the ball. Looked like we were a step and a half slow to Louisville. The hell's going on here? What are those, the horses from the racetrack? Notre Dame looked slow. So
we do it for
slow.
ourselves. We want to play in this little box and try to outmuscle people. This isn't 1995. Nobody plays like that anymore.
Adam, go have a Miller Lite. Go have a Miller Lite.
I know. I'm going to let you go.
All right.
But I'm more worried about the recruiting, John. I really am. And people are going to use this.
I can't even go there yet, man. I'm not even ready for that problem yet. Oh, my God. All right, Adam, have a Miller Lite.
To you, buddy.
Relax.
Hey, have a good night.
Yeah.
Later, Adam. Hey, Jet, real quick. I actually think the defense is getting better. As I said earlier, you cannot expect to put your offense cannot put your defense in that situation throughout the game. Yeah. But as this season has gone on, I actually think Al Golden is doing a really good job outside of what happened at Ohio State. It's the offense that's regressing. It is regressing. It has gotten predictable. It's like they don't know what to do. It's like he's just kind of lost on everything now in terms of what play calling is supposed to look like.
Pat, the problem is there isn't a good initial plan to begin with. And then when it doesn't work, they have nowhere to pivot. That happened against Duke as well. They have nowhere to go. And it's, oh man, this is a rough dynamic. And listen, Andrew says, I appreciate that, John. He deserves a lot of heat. Listen, I understand that it ain't a good look for me to be a Freeman guy and then have this happen. I understand that. But you know what? It doesn't matter. This is the reality. So tell me I'm an idiot or I was wrong or you're done with, if you're done with Freeman, whatever, I think that might be a little exaggerated.
That's much.
That's an overreaction because it's not realistic anyways. But I'm just telling you, I am not going to fight anybody tonight on defending Freeman because there's no defending.
Oh, he deserves it. Absolutely deserves it.
There is no defending this. And I'm not going to sit there and go, well, my original position is I love Freeman, so now I got to keep that up. Bro, you can't defend this on the football field. This was off the charts bad, and there needs to be answers, okay?
Yeah. I said,
go ahead, Pat.
Well, I was going to say, I said from year 1 to year 2, it looked like this coaching staff took a big step. And I still believe that to be the case because they haven't lost some of those games. They're losing to better teams than Marshall and Stanford, but they're still losing games. They lost a game they shouldn't, 2 games that they shouldn't have lost. And teams that they should have beaten. But Freeman's got a long way to go. He's got a long way to go. And it makes me wonder, is Notre Dame the right place for a guy that's got a long way to go? I'm in on Freeman. I haven't changed my stance on Freeman, but it puts doubt in my head.
But see, the problem is that horse is out of the barn. So Pat, where I'm going with that is the people that were against Freeman or didn't want him for the experience or whatever. Yeah, on Twitter and in my chat, they're killing me and they look smart and I look dumb right now. But that does not help Notre Dame at all. That doesn't solve anything for you to say a year and a half ago they should have done something. That doesn't help anything with the reality now because we're in this now and you got to figure out a way out of it because you can have that point to dunk on me if you want, but it doesn't help anything going on now. It doesn't change anything.
It's not going to happen. Most of this is emotion. I get how everyone is. It's emotion, but Notre Dame is not going to go fire Marcus Freeman because of this loss. They're not going to do it, and they're going to give him as long as he keeps recruiting the way he does, and recruiting doesn't drop. They're going to give him the 5 years. So prepare for that. But Pat, here's what I need to happen too. And I saw people on Twitter mentioning this. They were saying Notre Dame's media, the friendly thing, loving Freeman, that all needs to end. And now there needs to start being some tough questions in there. And it can't just be pat on the back. You're one play away from Ohio State and all that. People on Twitter were saying now's the time you guys in that room have to actually start asking what the hell's going on here and demand answers. And there is no niceties anymore in there.
This one is out of bounds, and it deserves a different level of scrutiny and answers and questions.
Here's my problem with the Notre Dame press in general. And this probably, I would say this started because of BK, and he wouldn't give you access if you were hard on him. And it just carried over. Oh, if we're nice to Freeman, we get access. And no, it shouldn't matter who the head coach is. If they do something stupid, if they have 10 guys on the field at the end of a big game and they end up losing the game because you have 10 guys on the field, you need to call that out. You need to say, hey, what the hell were you thinking? Not this, we got to be friendly. He's a nice guy, or, this stuff. It's sad. And I have never had a high opinion of the ND press corps. That's really the assessment.
This is just, it's rough. 574, Kevin, what's going on? Welcome tonight. Kevin. Oh, Kevin. I don't know where he went. Let's try 717. You're on the air. Express your misery.
Hey, John.
What's going on, man? Welcome to the program. Where are you at in this nightmare? Where's your mind going?
I'm just sick of getting my hopes up for Notre Dame, because it seems like every time it happens, they do this. I don't know why I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's man, I'm telling you, I'm really, really disappointed, man, because I really did think there was a very good chance that after the rough Ohio State ending and then a hard-fought win in a rough environment last week, I really thought Notre Dame would come in here more relaxed and ready to play with a clear mind, and instead it went the other way. It looked like those 3 weeks it looked like they were wearing, emotionally and physically, it looked like all of our guys, the coaches and the players, were running around with an extra 100 pounds on their back. That's how it felt to me, like slow and out of it and just delayed and not having answers and like slow motion. The whole thing was off tonight. The whole thing was off, and it sickens me.
I saw the same thing, and I think this was like kind of a wake-up call to Freeman to be like, you're not always going to get patted on the back like you've kind of been. And I always bring up last year's Clemson game and kind of like the energy of that game. And it seemed like even though Freeman like started slow, he was going into big games with a lot better preparation, a lot more energy. And I didn't see that tonight.
Yeah, no, they had nothing, dude. Well, okay, listen. I did a show earlier in the week arguing about the bye, saying that I was totally mad that they don't have a bye till after week 8 rather, and after USC, and I hated that.
Yeah.
While I acknowledge that is an unfortunate schedule quirk this year, that is not an excuse for this. You have to match the moment and overcome it. What happened to, what though the odds be great or small, we're going to overcome everything. You didn't overcome nothing.
Exactly.
Change the lyrics.
We made Louisville look a lot better than they actually were.
Can I ask you this?
A lot better.
How much faster did they look than Notre Dame? It looked like they were the thoroughbreds at the Kentucky Derby running around our guys. We didn't match them in any way, and I can't handle it. It's too much. Now I got questions everywhere. I can't trust anything. That's another I can't trust anything. When you do this, you lose any credibility or any shred of trust. That's all out the window. And you think we're having a bad night tonight? What's going to happen if you hand Caleb Williams a big night in your place? This is snowballing downhill on us, and I hate it.
I don't get what happened. I thought after the Duke win, I thought that was a great response. Yeah, it was a little closer than we would have liked, but it's like, you're coming off of Ohio State, and it's not like Duke is terrible. And it's like, how did this happen? Louisville is not as good as they look.
Oh, no. We made them. They literally, they built this up like their Super Bowl, and the way we let them play made it feel like they could have been in the Super Bowl. I mean, those guys, you knew this environment. You felt the buildup. You saw it from the Louisville side. You knew you were walking into this hornet's nest. And you didn't match the moment at all. Total failure across the board, all of it. And I need changes somewhere, whether it's somebody helping Parker draw up plays or whether it means younger guys get to play more now that we're out of the playoff. I don't know what it is, but you can't just get up there and go, well, we have to execute better next week against USC. No, there's 80 other things wrong just besides that.
Now, I want to ask you a question about the running backs. Do you think that Jeremiah Love is better than Audric Estime?
I think they're vastly different in the way they do. Yeah, they're so different in the way that they run, but I also disagree with the usage. The usage of these guys doesn't make sense. Who they're putting in to run what and when. So they're just so different. I have a hard time saying that, although I mean, Love's going to be your number one back. That guy's dynamic. He's going to be fantastic. But I don't understand the usage. They always say, they brag about Estime all the time and all this stuff, and then he doesn't even get the ball in some key moment. It's just all bad. It's all bad, bro.
And where was Jaden Thomas? I mean, did he do anything?
Man, I am just it's just so rough.
I have a hard time believing that the receivers are this bad. Our receivers, there's no way they're this bad.
Yeah, we just couldn't.
Is it the play calling? Is it the play calling? Or, like,
you know what I think you have? I think you have a little bit of everything. That's what I think. You have an offensive line that isn't doing the greatest job, an OC trying to find his way, throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. A wide receiver room that on their best day is not exactly what you want it to be, even on their best day. It's a little bit of everything, but there is talent on that offense, and they are not being used. It's just not clicking. They're getting worse and not better, bro. And I can't have that halfway through the year where you're getting worse and not better.
Exactly. The main thing for me is I want to see more energy, and you better have energy going into your most hated rival.
There was no energy.
USC.
There was no energy tonight, that's for sure. They were walking corpses from the beginning. You could look at our sideline and tell these dudes they didn't look right to me. I think I even tweeted it, bro. When you look at the sideline, they just didn't look into it tonight. And I can't accept that in this environment with your whole season on the line. If you lost one more game, your playoff hopes are done. And sure enough, here we are. It's unacceptable.
I noticed that too. And it's like, do you think that they're still sluggish from Ohio State, or do you think they're looking ahead to like USC, which I don't know.
If you're
I have so many questions.
You are not allowed to use the Ohio State hangover 2 weeks later. That's out. Not allowed to use it. I just can't let it happen. And if there's anybody in the Notre Dame program that was looking ahead to USC and overlooking an undefeated Louisville team at home with all this buildup, you're idiots. You can't afford to do that. You're Notre Dame. You have the biggest target on you in America. Everybody in America wants to see you fail, and they want to see me have a stroke on the air on the internet. That's what the people want, and they might get it. Quit laughing at me, Pat.
Right when they went for that 4th and 11 that's when I knew the game was over. When they went for it on 4th and 11, I was like,
no, Freeman lost his mind. No, that was Freeman's inexperience and the frustration of these 2 weeks spilling over and his immaturity as a coach. That's what that was to me. But this whole team looked out of sync, not ready for the moment. And that is not Notre Dame football. It's completely unacceptable. Question it all. Freeman, the coordinators, the players, whoever, the equipment staff, question it all. When you do this, it's all on the table, baby. And I hate it. And I hate myself for caring that much.
Yeah, the last quick thing I wanted to like touch on before I go was like, this was like everyone was playing bad. Like there were some bright spots against Ohio State. They played overall pretty good. It just coaching pretty much lost that game. This game was just everywhere. It just looked lifeless, sluggish, no one looked good tonight at all, and there are just so many questions.
Yeah,
it goes to Marcus Freeman and his preparation. Did he not prepare them right? Like, what happened? How did this happen?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's the biggest disappointment is all this did was allow all of these big picture nightmare questions to come in, and it's just incredibly unfortunate. Anything else on the way out, man? Thanks a lot for giving me a call and hitting me up.
Let's go beat Southern Cal.
Hey, man, that I know it's hard to think about, but that's the next thing you got to do. Thanks for the call, man. Oh my
John,
God.
we're talking about the offense's identity. At the beginning of the year, it had an identity. It was a downhill running team that could put the ball where it needed to be through the passing game. Now it's a slow, wait for the play to develop team, and everyone's getting tackled in the backfield.
Yeah,
including the quarterback.
Yeah, it's just rough. Pierre Land. John knows he's going to have to halt the BK trash talk again this week because everybody's on me. Yeah, I mean, I was going after Kelly when it looked bad for him earlier today. And congratulations. You almost gave up 40 to Missouri. You won the game. You already have 2 losses in your pocket just like we do, and you're winning nothing too. So good job. We both suck. Are you happy now? Neither one of us are winning anything. So maybe we all lose.
Did you see in the I think it happened in the first half where Hartman was walking off the field and he's looking at the quarterback coach, and Hartman says, "What are we doing?"
Yeah.
And the quarterback coach responds to him and goes, "I don't know."
Yeah, I saw it.
You cut both of them. Cut both of them. And I was sitting there thinking, like, okay, I think there's a bigger problem. I think there's a problem on the staff if they were talking about these plays. I don't know, but I saw that, and that immediately signaled to me is like, I think other people are recognizing there's an issue.
Okay, but
and
Pat,
they're
is
just
there
playing nice?
How involved is Gaduli in any of this scheming and stuff? Like, is he doing the quarterback stuff based on whatever Parker wants? Or is Gino a guy with more experience that could help them maybe figure their way through some of this? Like, I don't know, Pat. I'm just trying to find an answer because what's going on now, ain't it? We're getting worse. We are regressing.
I agree with you.
We're getting worse.
And I think it's actually, I'm not looking to fire anybody yet. But there's definitely people leaning into that category. But I do think you need to let the quarterback coach maybe make some of these play call decisions. Somebody's got to do something. Dowling, what are you doing? Go ahead, go to your next call.
Somebody's got to do something. Okay, couple donations. The 6077 and a 412. 412 is first, and then the 6077. And I'm trying to get the people that I know donated first. Here we go. 412. We're talking to you on the Irish Depression Outline. What's going on? Welcome to the show.
Johnny boy, how we doing?
Oh,
how we doing, baby?
Absolutely horrifically.
We're down bad.
I am out of my mind. This is off the grid bad. It brings into question everything. Small picture, big picture. It's unbelievable, unacceptable, humiliating, and we have a long half of the year left if it keeps up this way. What are your main thoughts?
Well, geez, I got too many, as I think all of the Irish fans have.
Well, you know what? It's easy to do. But wait, dude, it's my fault. When I ask when I ask somebody what their complaint is, and every one of them has a list of 48 things that are all legitimate, I don't know what I expect. None of the calls could be quick because the list of what's wrong is huge. You could go on all night.
I feel like first off, let's start with coaching.
Oh, that was great.
And abysmal. Like, what are we doing? 4th and 11 at the 30?
Freeman lost his mind. It was frustration.
What the fuck is this guy?
It was frustration.
What is this guy doing?
It was frustration. It was frustration,
and I get that. Like,
with all of it.
What are we, 2 of 50 on 3rd down in the last 3 games? Get it together, Marcus.
Can I ask you this?
I know there's growing pains.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you make of Notre Dame?
Fired up.
What do you make of Notre Dame rushing for 44 yards? 44 yards. That's what they rush for. O-line you, baby. 44 yards. That's it.
I was thinking that the whole time I was watching the game, John. I was thinking exactly what we said. O-line you, but we never perform. We never, it's always one guy that makes it to the NFL and this and that, and he's a stud, blah, blah, blah. But what's up? There's no mesh. The offensive line is not meshing, and I did love how we started off with Love as the feature back, because we were down and we needed a spark. And he's a quick back, and he's tough, man. That kid's gonna be a star.
Here's the other thing too.
Audric
is
slow coming out of that.
He looks. So is he hobbled? Is Audric not healthy? Because he's a little slow on the get off, man.
He got hurt in the third or something.
Dude, here's the other thing.
I did like that.
5
starting
turnovers.
With Love. And
5 turnovers.
That kid is quick.
5.
And then it's just like, what is up with the third down situation, dude? What are we doing? I'm a Steelers fan. I don't know if anybody else is watching knows about Matt Canada, but Jesus, H on the cross. It's like the same exact offense. I'm rooting for the same team Saturday and Sunday. What are we doing, man? We don't have Golden Tate and Michael Floyd out there.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Galore.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Go ahead.
What is the short-term best way to navigate out of this? That's what I'm struggling to figure out. Like, you have a game next week against your rival, and everything you've done has been wrong and bad. Like, what is I don't even know what the short-term fix is, other than just going, well, I hope we execute better next week. And then everybody just does the same thing.
Played scared.
But, like, what can you change?
We played scared the last 2 weeks.
What can you change during the week? Because what you are doing is not working.
Dude.
It's not working. It's not just this week at practice can't be. We're going to do the same thing we've been doing, and we just hope it turns out better Saturday. I have learned that what you're doing during the week is not good enough. I need changes. Because you're getting worse. You ain't getting better. Oh,
the screen or the jet sweep. Jesus, on, bro. H on the cross, dude. I'm sorry I'm calling it late. I'm sure the other callers have talked about how piss poor the play calling was on that. But Jesus, man.
Yeah,
you got a 240-pound back. Run the damn ball.
Yeah, I just don't.
What are we doing trick plays on the road, dude?
Everything is bad, and it's all just piling up, and there's no easy way out. And so I don't know what needs to happen, but it's just there's no easy way out of this. It is this is off the grid bad, and I'm shocked by it. I mean, I thought, there's an opportunity you could lose to this team, but I didn't think it'd look like this. You got physically bullied by Louisville on national TV, and now 2 out of 3 weeks, you are the national running joke in college football. That is the fact.
Emotionally drained, physically drained.
Yep.
And now, I mean, if USC loses tonight, which they might, I'm watching the game here now. And, is game day going to come to South Bend?
They announced before.
I don't know what other game.
Yeah, they're going to Oregon, Washington.
They announced before the game that the Fox big noon kickoff is coming, but I think game day's going somewhere else. But I mean, geez, whatever, man. I can't even. Good luck. Good luck to all the people that bought the USC tickets in advance. It's going to be a crazy vibe this week. It's going to be like tailgating at Grandma's funeral. Tailgating at Grandma's funeral. That's the vibe this week, and they deserve it. They deserve it. You can't walk in there excited. You're back to walking in scared because you don't know what you're going to get. And I am extremely upset.
John, I got a question. Do you want USC to lose now, or do you want them to win? Because, we're out of the playoffs, to be honest. Unless the Pac-12 is going to beat the hell out of each other. Big Ten, we don't know what that. Those guys play 3 big games a year, and it's, Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State.
I don't know.
One of them is going to be.
If you're going to play them.
So, there's no chance for us unless anything, crazy happens. I mean, it's college football. You never know, but we're definitely out. But
I know.
Would you like to see USC win tonight? And I don't know how that changes next week's dynamic or
the way after what we did. I think that question would be a lot more relevant if we had won, no matter what it looked like. And then I would have said, and then I would have said, I want them undefeated because it would make us look better if we beat them. Now, the way I think tonight, I don't really give a crap either. I don't think it matters. If you're going to play like this, you don't have a shot no matter what. And so it's just brutal, man. Anything on the way out? Thank you very much for the call and the donation, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Sorry for the long longevity of the call, but on the way out, man, I love your sorry. I try not to swear, but I love your show, man.
Thank
you. You are bringing the people a voice, and you're the man. Keep going. Hey, we'll get through this all, and maybe in 25 years we'll get one.
Yeah, maybe.
You have a wonderful night, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be doing the show as a skeleton. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait.
Can you imagine, John? Can you imagine you doing this at 65?
Pat, dude, the way we're going now, I'm gonna stroke out on the air, and everybody's gonna see it, and I'm just gonna be laying here in my chair. Season? Are you kidding me?
I'll be playing golf in Florida watching. I'll be done.
All right, 6077. You're coming up here. 603 talking to me on the Depression Irish Hotline.
John, what's up, buddy?
I am not doing well. I am very upset, and this is all really, really bad. We are getting worse and not better, and there's all questions and no answers, and I hate everything, and F my life, basically. What do you got going on?
I understand you.
That's where I'm at, dog.
Proper way to say the F word.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm coming from.
So I've been a fan since Bob Davies, number one.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, that's a good start. Yeah, great start. You're doing great out of the gate, buddy. This is trending down just like our team, okay? That's a bad start, dude.
Why can't we beat these teams? Why?
Well, I mean, for one thing, Notre Dame clearly has a loose operation, not running on all cylinders right now. And then the other thing that no one wants to hear, and I don't want to say, but it is fair, Notre Dame plays, 10 or 11 Super Bowls a year, but the problem is there's only a Super Bowl trophy on the line for the other team.
I'm with you.
I've been thinking about that. You need to admit what the Notre Dame game meant to Duke. It meant the same thing on the record for both teams, but emotionally, that was a bigger moment for Duke than it was Notre Dame and their fans. Tonight, it was a bigger moment for Louisville, an opportunity for them and their fans than it's ever going to be for us playing Louisville when we just got done playing Ohio State and have USC next week. These are those Super Bowls, and if Notre Dame isn't up for them, you're getting your ass beat. And we got our ass beat all freaking night. All night.
Jack Swarbrick, who made the schedule? Who made this schedule with this many games in a row without a bye week? Come on. I mean,
well, part of that is the ACC deal.
It's brutal.
Yeah, part of it's the ACC. I understand a part of it being moving Navy to Dublin, all of those things moved the thing around. It's not ideal. And it's fair to bring that up and say that is a unique, unfortunate challenge, but that doesn't make it okay. You have to overcome, bro. It's in the song. Change the lyrics.
Like every other team does.
Change the lyrics. If you're not living up to it, change the lyrics. You didn't match the moment. I forget about winning overall. You didn't even compete overall. Change the lyrics. You ain't living up to it. It's just unacceptable, bro.
John, 3rd and 1. Estime wasn't tonight. Estime was not tonight. Put Love in. He gets 3, 4, 5 yards to carry. Put Love in. Play Love. I don't
put a lead blocker in.
Yeah. Man, it's so just lethargic and chunky and slow, and there's no flow. There's no rhythm. There's no nothing, man. There's just no nothing.
I can't take it, John. John, listen, I'll keep it short. Thank you for taking my call. Love you, buddy. I've been with you. I'm in the paint. I was at the Bush Push game. I can't take it. I cannot take it anymore.
Yeah,
with losing.
It's always the next thing. It's just always the next thing, man. Like it never ends with us. And then every time you think you turn a corner, you just get a brick dropped in your lap. Like it never ends. And Notre Dame's in it now. You just opened up just the gates of football hell just opened up.
Yeah,
like literally, they just opened up. And now you got all sorts of problems and you invite all sorts of questions and they're all fair. Hey, have a good one, buddy.
Hey,
all right,
John.
man. Thank you. Bye.
Later.
John,
Dude.
you got a 4-1. You got a 4-1-2 holding? He donated $10.
412. I think I already did that one.
Oh, did you? Did we do that?
Yeah,
one?
I got that one.
Okay.
And then I got that other guy that keeps saying he's ready and he's ready and he's ready. You didn't donate $1. There's 80 other people ready too. You can wait. What? What do you don't just get to go?
No, I just put it in the comments.
30 people waiting.
I just put it in the
comments. I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that to that guy. That ain't how it works. Sorry.
I'm laughing.
Especially not tonight, bro. You don't.
I'll call in from my cell phone and people will be mad because you'll take me right away.
Yeah. Well, you're different. You don't count. You're on the inside.
Hey, when is my? So I ordered all my shirts on Wednesday. When's it or whenever you post it at store? When am I supposed to get this stuff?
They should be coming soon, and then you could burn them like all your other Notre Dame stuff. 219, what's going on?
John, what's going on? Nice to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry it's under these unfortunate circumstances.
Who's your daddy? Wow.
It's worse than Ohio State. Not even a question.
Yeah, it's a totally different. It's a different reason. Yeah, it's a different feeling. Those losses couldn't be more different in how they presented. I'm with you.
Yeah, and I mean it's just a total incompetence of the coaching staff. I think people hit it right on the head. I mean the defense overall. I mean aside from Maris Leofow, I think it's just an absolute failure of accountability. I mean he makes the boneheaded call on the face mask. And then he's right back on the field. And then if you watch the replay, he takes a horrible angle. He just dives right into the B gap, and the play hits the C gap for a touchdown. I mean, I don't know why he stays on the field, but there's no fire from Marcus. Like, you know, you have to match the intensity of the Duke fans and the Louisville fans, and there's just no fire on the sideline.
Yeah, dude.
And I can't figure out why.
Listen, man. Am I over dramatic? You know, if anybody who watches this show know I'm all about like the emotion and getting fired up for games and how you do all that and who flinches first. And I always like discussing the mental part of the game and being prepared for the moment you walk into and all that. But I got to say, Notre Dame looked flat, bro. They were flat all night. And the staff looked flat. The players looked flat. They had nothing. And you can't just say we've had a long month and we're out of gas. That's just not an acceptable answer here. That's not a good answer.
And everything on defense is emotion. And to the other caller's credit, I mean, you can't put 14 points up against Ohio State. You barely put up 20 against Duke. And then you have 7 points at half against Louisville. You can't expect the defense to just keep bending and bending and bending. Right. Exactly. At some point, you have to open up the offense.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the boneheaded third down calls are one thing. I think even worse than the counter jet sweep to Tyree up the middle, they were running an 8 to 9 man box all game. Where's the play action?
Yeah.
Like, you got stuff before. Where's the creativity from Parker to say, all right, they're running a 9 man box. We're going to have to go play action here.
I don't.
You know, we're going to have to do something to keep him honest. He's just out over his skis, and Marcus needs to, you know, he's got to threaten to can him to either it's put up or shut up time for him. I mean, as far as I'm concerned,
I just don't think. I think they got outcoached 3 weeks in a row, and that just can't be, man. This is Notre Dame. You can't be. I don't care if you're newer or some of the guys are younger. This is Notre Dame. You can't be outcoached 3 weeks in a row, and it's obvious all 3 weeks. You just can't do it.
Right.
So I just don't know.
Not when you have superior talent. I mean, Ohio State's at home. That's an emotional game. Game day's there.
Yeah.
But you've got far superior talent to Duke and Louisville. There should be no excuse that game's anywhere close, let alone a blowout. I mean, it's just completely unacceptable. Like you said, national stage. Now Notre Dame's the topic all week on the heels of 2 weeks to go against Ohio State, and now you got USC coming. Who knows what they're going to do tonight if they pull it out. But yeah, I think the lack of experience for Marcus showed, and his lack of fire, it just bleeds into the team because it just doesn't seem like they're ever ready to play.
Yeah, there are problems all over, man. There's no easy fix here. There's just something that it's all off right now, and it's all awful right now. And I don't know, man. You got your rivals coming to town next week, and you gotta you gotta get this right, and you gotta do it fast, or this is gonna snowball out of control, and it's gonna be a nightmare. So I don't know where you go from here, but this is absolutely brutal.
Well, like you said to start the show, I mean, you have to question everything, and I know we don't want to dwell on it, but the Jack Swarbrick decision to hobnob around Dublin, and everything about Notre Dame is all about the money. Wanting to go over there and make cash and make people spend $10,000 to go over there for all these big trips that they sponsor.
Hope it was worth it.
Yeah,
hope they made a bunch of money, and
hope it's worth it to always have to end the season on the road because you have to go play Stanford, which I don't agree with either. Like, find somebody else so you can actually end the season at home. Like, it's 2023. You don't have to spend the end of the season on the West Coast because of recruiting. Like, you have a private jet.
Yeah.
Why don't we end the season at home for once?
And so let me ask you this, man. Now that this is a total dumpster fire, now that the train is off the tracks and it's off the charts bad, not even near the real world of functionality with this team, what is your first step to get it back on track? Like, I don't have that answer as we sit here. What is like short term? Like, what could we do this week to be in a better position for next week? You think that's it? We need to have a heart to heart. You guys aren't getting it done.
Yeah,
we all need to be better. And he has to say it starts with him now. He's got it. The only way that works is if he says, I'm the one. He's got to take that accountability first before you could go to anybody else.
Oh, yeah. Publicly, he has to take the heat, but I think privately, he's got to light up his assistant coaches.
Yeah.
Not whomever he thinks is the problem, probably specifically with Parker and that offensive line coach, because I don't know what the hell's going on there either.
Yeah, 44 yards, buddy. Hey, O-line 44
Yeah.
yards against Louisville. Not in a quarter. No,
Well,
for the whole game.
44 yards is fine if you're throwing for 400. That's fine because they're running an 8-man box. But you can't not throw the ball and then run the ball for 44 yards.
Pat, what did you add?
I was going to say, is the problem now the interior offensive line definitely is an issue, but could a lot of it be the scheme that the play calls that they're calling, and it's not?
Oh, I think it is, and I think that's probably I think it is, and I think that's the frustration of Hartman is, he's under center, he's in shotgun, they're running. They've got Tyree running inside, but then they've got him running a deep fade. Like, there's, on the interception throw, he has Jaden Thomas open, but like the other caller said, why is Rico Flores running the fade? Merriweather 6'4". That's a ball that should go to Merriweather or Thomas, and it's going to Rico Flores. Like, it's just there's no continuity of who does what. There's no crossing routes. There's no screen plays to keep Louisville honest. I mean, Joe Alt's on roller skates. Like, help those guys out and run some plays to keep them honest.
Yeah, who would have thought you would see Joe Alt on roller skates?
Man, and some of that was when they were firing through those gaps. It was like Notre Dame wouldn't even recognize. It was like literally they moved sideways and let him run right by. Like, they weren't even close to blocking any of it up. Like, it wasn't like
Blake Fisher.
Dude, it wasn't one
Fisher
guy
blocked out when he should have blocked in. The guy blitzed right through the gap. Nobody was there.
The amazing thing to me is it wasn't like it was like one guy got beat by a great swim move and gave up like a hit on Artman or something. It was like a firestorm blitz where there's 4 guys that were all getting back there. Dude, it couldn't be any worse than this. This is my existence, you guys. Yeah, I build all this world around Notre Dame and always Irish, and all I want to do is think about football. Anybody wonder why I'm half a lunatic? Look at my life.
Yeah,
I've never wondered.
It's sink or swim. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst. And I think the continuity of the running backs, like there's just no flow and who does what. Like,
Nope.
Estime needs to be going north and south, but they're running a short side of the field sweep to him.
Dude,
like,
they don't do a good job of figuring out what situations and plays should go to each of these running backs. They're not figuring it out. It's like mismatch.
Yeah, and
it's kind of mismatch who they're doing what and where, and they just can't figure out who needs to do what. Get it together.
Well, I think Pat said it earlier. Like, could we get a lead blocker? I mean, your line is struggling, but you're still going 5 wide. Like, maybe go split back with Love and Estime, so they don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
Fake a dive to Estime,
There's
run a little swing pass to Love.
There's a little wrinkle, and then you got a thunder and a lightning wrinkle with it. I love that,
Correct.
And it makes them hesitate a little bit because you don't know where it's going to go. Like, we're not seeing anything, dude, and there's no pivot. We don't have a plan to start. And then when the no plan fails, there's definitely not a backup. They're all out there drowning. Yeah. It's so bad, dude. This is just a nightmare in every way, practically and perceptually, in the short term and the long term. There's no 5 sacks and 20 hurries. That better be for the year and not just tonight.
That's the thing.
People with SC coming, you got to go to your 6-year quarterback and Gio and say, listen, we're going, 2-minute drill the whole game. We're putting it in your hands. You call go down the field. This is it. No more 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I think the one caller said it's not the 1995 anymore. It's not the 1980s. Like, open up the offense. Marcus isn't an offensive guy. At Orgeron, he needed Joe Moorhead when they won the championship to run the offense. Like, that's not his strong suit. Jared Parker, he has no experience. He can't do it on his own. It's evident after 7 games. He's not the guy.
Well,
so
there are just really, really big issues everywhere here, man. Hey, thank you for the donation. Thanks for calling, man. I appreciate you.
No problem, man.
Have a good one. Yeah, what's
Johnny,
up,
the people that are coming after Hartman, like, okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. He did not play his best game. That first interception was really bad. But that dude spent most of his ass on the ground. He was getting hit. He was getting knocked down. He had pressure in his face all day. The offensive line did nothing to help him. So I'm not making an excuse for him because there was a lot of throws that he should have made that he didn't make. But it's you need to block. You need to block for the guy. And when you're O-line and you don't block, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because you're not O-line U. That's really just what it is. We're not O-line U. We have never been O-line U, and people need to stop saying that.
Yeah. There is a big difference between you having a few guys that are great and went to the league and they're great than you having O-line U. Those are different things. You have a couple individuals that are going to be all of famers in the NFL, and they deserve all the credit in the world. And
you have never
credit Eric
for
that too, if you want. But as for a full unit, they have never performed appropriately in the biggest games of the year in the last 20 years, not once.
No, you've never.
In the biggest game of the year with everything on the line, Notre Dame's O-line has never performed good enough. So spare me. I never want to hear it again.
This was my issue with Harry Heastand. This is my issue now with this coach. You have never been able to string it together. You would always have 1 or 2 guys on the offensive line who is really good, and then you have some other guys that are maybe coming along. They need a few years, but they're not as good. And for some reason, people think that because you got Joe Alt as your left tackle who got put on his ass, you're O-line U. No, you're not. When you run for 44 yards against Louisville, you're not O-line U.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yep. You're not allowed to. Okay. So 3 people that donated are all going to come up. 518-914-66262. I'm trying to write them down. Keep them on my list here. So those are coming up. 518, what's going on? Thanks for the donation.
Yo, John, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you, man. What's up?
All right. It's frustrating, I'm telling you. Like, I've been I don't even know where to start, but it's hard. Year in, year out, getting pumped up, getting worked up to everything, and then it's just a letdown. And for the stupidest reasons, too. It's frustrating. In this game, we've just gotten picked apart. It felt like there's no offensive identity. I'll be honest. Like,
no, there's nothing. Dude, there's nothing. What are they good at? What do they rely on? What is their bread and butter? They have nothing that they do well. They have nothing to rely on. They don't run the ball good. They can't throw it consistently. They don't do anything. That we're halfway through the year and Notre Dame's offense has no identity. You have a 6th-year quarterback and you still have no identity. You don't know what you want to do. You don't know what you can do. You don't know who can do what. They don't. They're getting worse. And I can't live that way, bro. I can't live this way.
I can't live that way either, but I'm just going to be honest. Ohio State broke them. I'm going to be plain and simple. Those first few games, Tennessee State, Navy, what was it? Central Michigan, North Carolina State, even though you could argue they're cupcake opponents, but like scoring 40 points average, that was something to be proud of. And that was something you needed to hold on to going into that Ohio State game. And after that heartbreaking loss, going into Duke, they were slugging. They were just slugging around, not making plays that they needed. And I understand you had receivers injured during that Duke game, but in this game, you had everyone back. There's no excuse to have that many freaking mistakes and to have that few points going into halftime. And I forgot, I think it was the second quarter, 3rd and 13, trying to hand it off instead of just power running it up the middle with Estime and getting that fumble. That's sad. That should not be happening.
So how do you get out of this, man? That's the problem next is, how in the hell, what can be done to try and start calming this down and navigating us out of this dark, dark alley? Like when you're not, when you're not good at anything, I don't know what you do. There's no backbone.
Needs to step up. He needs to step up. He needs to go after his coordinators. He can take the heat when he needs to, because I'm not going to let him off the hook from this. He's made some questionable calls. That going for it on 4th down with 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter. You don't do that as a coach. But he also needs to go after his coordinators because they've made atrocious play calling.
Yeah.
And that's what's been costing us these last 3 games. The players are fine. I feel like if you can call the right plays, these players can do it. But the way that the staff is handling everything, they're setting these kids up to fail. And at this point, you might as well just go into the USC game playing loose and easy, because now you got 2 losses.
Yeah.
There's a slim chance you're ever going to make a Year 6 bowl game unless you win out. You're going to make a crap bowl game probably. So at this point, just go loose and easy, throw the kitchen sink at them, and hopefully we can salvage the season and maybe have something good for next year. Because this was their last chance
you had to
make
have
something worth it.
Yeah, no, you're right. This was an absolute, and what an idiot I am. I am the dumbest person. I sat there all week on this show and this dungeon I work in, and I said, you know what Notre Dame needs this week is you got to have a good offensive performance, score in the 30s or 40s, and start trending up into USC. What an idiot I am. We couldn't run the ball for 50 yards in the entire game. We had 5 turnovers. We had no answer for anything they did. They pushed us around and bullied us all night, and it's humiliating, and it's off the chart bad. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for the donation and call. You got anything on the way out? Let it rip.
I pretty much used up my anger during that game. I'm starting to rip out my voice, but they need to pick things back up. They can't give up here. I know things are frustrating, and I know this is depressing time to be in, to be a Notre Dame fan, which is pretty much year in, year out. But they've pulled off magical moves before. Hopefully they can do it again, and hopefully we can beat USC.
Man.
We just need to make some better play calling. We need to get the coaching staff out of whatever the hell mindset they're in, and we need to drill this into these players that it's not over yet. That's really all I can leave it at.
Well, hey, you're going to go into USC with everybody thinking the worst, and there is an opportunity there for you to be able to salvage some of the credibility. You're never going to get back all the credibility from this. That's impossible from here on out the rest of this year. However, you could beat USC and gain some of that credibility back, but what are the odds of that if this is how you played? And then I don't know.
If they can handle themselves right, they can do it. This team is not bad. It's like I said earlier, this team is not bad. The coaching staff needs to freaking make the right play calls, and they need to prepare their players mentally and physically for these games. They can't hold on to the mindset of a 17-14 loss to Ohio State 2 weeks after it occurred.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable.
Yep. Nope.
They can't, if they do that for a third week in a row, if they do that for USC, then that's a bad sign for things to come in the next few years with Marcus Freeman going further into his career at this place.
Yeah.
That's a bad.
Yeah, you got issues, man. And there are a lot of questions and not a lot of good answers. Thank you for the call, man, and the donation too. Try and have a good evening.
Welcome.
Try and have a good evening, okay?
Thank you, John. Have a great evening.
You too. Take care. Man, that guy was so nice and respectful, even though he's miserable. I like people like that. All right. Next up, 914-6262 after that on the donations here. 914, give me some more depression. What's going on?
Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
I've been a lot better. I'll tell you that. I've been a lot better. Not a good night.
Why? What happened?
Yeah.
I'm the caller that called after the Ohio State game, and I was driving home the point that when there was 2.5 minutes left, and you had the delayed run, and then the screen pass incomplete, and then a run to kind of just get 5 yards back, and then the punt. And I just thought that was indicative of a bigger problem, and it seemed to metastasize its way into tonight. And it's just, you have these coaches, and it's just a mental thing. I know a lot of callers are saying the plays have to get called better. The plays have to get called better. Well, I think it's more than just turning on a switch. I was talking to my father, and it's like letting a child run into traffic. It's like, oh, I wouldn't trust those parents with my dog or my cat. Like, I don't, it's just, and your co-host, sorry, I forgot his name. He was saying Hartman was talking to the QB guy saying, what are we doing? And when Hartman threw that pick, when it was, I don't know what it was, 7 minutes left, and he just looked dejected. Hartman put us on his back to get that fourth and whatever that was, 14, 15, 16. And he was like, I have to go down, score a touchdown. The defense has to stop them. Then we have to go down, score a touchdown again. And this is Louisville. I'm not here for it. Like, it's just asking too much. And no lead blockers, another one. There was one play, I was in the bar yelling, and it was a misdirection handoff on 3rd and 1 or 2, and it wasn't a good handoff, but it took so long. And I don't know. It's just
it just feels disjointed right now. Things just feel off.
Yeah,
like there's no rhythm to anything. There's no flow. Everything just seems like it's kind of loosely taped together. And if one little thing doesn't go right, everything falls apart. Like, I can't put it into words, but it just feels off. Like, there's no clicking. There's just no rhythm. There's no flow. Like, there just ain't nothing.
And it's annoying. It's very annoying because, and I think you may know deep down, I'm not going to tell you what you know, but you've watched Notre Dame for a while.
I don't know what I know either after this. I don't know what I know either. After the way Ohio State ended in this, I don't think I know anything.
But I remember in '93, I ran in my room and shut the door when they lost to BC on that field goal. But I think this takes 3 years. You lose Hartman. I said this after Ohio State. You have Hartman till December, maybe January, probably not. You have Hartman for the pinstripe bowl against Oregon State, or whatever the hell we get into.
Yeah.
And then you have to bring in a new quarterback. And then you're going to lose people to the portal. And I think it's 3 years at the best. That might be pessimistic, but I mean, I think the patient's on the table here, and the disease has spread, and he's not going to be running sprints next week. I think it's
well. Here's the other question. No, here's the other question I have for you. If you're saying this is going to take a few years and all that, like, fine. And if they're bought into Freeman enough and they like the recruiting and the way he operates interpersonally, which is, whatever, fine, I get it.
I like Freeman as a person.
But after this year, when this season ends, Freeman has to have some tough discussions about his friends that are on this staff. He's going to have to, if he wants this to work on his reputation, Freeman's going to really have to take a look at where this is at. And maybe you have to go, hey, Gerard, I love you. Go back to being the tight ends coach. I got to get somebody in here that can do this.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever, been in a business partner or dated someone and you're like, ooh, this is just, I don't see this ever working. We're going to have to kind of downgrade this relationship.
Well, yeah, that was 2 wives ago. Give me a break. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding.
No, but that's what it is. And it might be harsh for me to say during the Ohio State game that offensive play call was indicative of what happened tonight, but I was pretty upset, and I played football for a while, and and if you really want me to go back, the Fiesta Bowl, when they were up by like 30 points and they lost. I know that was 2 years ago and Freeman just took over, but it's like he couldn't even manage that game. All you had to do was kneel it 20 times. I mean, I don't know. That's my answer, 3 years. He needs a longer runway.
Yeah. Man,
new coaches, longer runway.
I mean, he needs a longer runway, but he also needs to make sure the people that are on the plane with him on that runway can help bring him along and not hold him back. Yep. And that is a big part of that. Like he might need a longer runway, but the guys that are in that flight with him, they can't be also making it harder than it's already going to be for him to get this all going. You know what I mean?
It's almost like, and not to get into politics, but do you think Biden's really running the country, or does he have people in position to run it for him and he's the salesman, he's the spokesman? Freeman's great at recruiting. He's a personal guy. He can bring someone in his office. People like him, but you need your workhorses in the trenches. Oh, the OC, the defensive coordinator, maybe another special position that, you speak to that brings the DC and the OC together. You need those 2, 3, 4 guys. That's why Hartman went to the quarterback's coach saying, what are we doing? Because Hartman knows that he can say that to that guy because that guy doesn't know either. Doesn't call the shots. So you need Freeman needs 2 or 3 shot callers that he can bring in, and then Freeman can be the sales recruiter, head coach guy.
Okay, well then that all needs to be worked. That all needs to be worked out the second this season ends. Then the second this season ends, he needs to make tough decisions and then do all this and make some changes. So I don't know, man. But
I just want to make one last point, and then I'll get off. Always good talking to you. Love the show. I didn't curse tonight.
You went the politics route instead. Yeah, that's even worse almost.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, thanks for that.
But
it's worse.
That's a lot worse. That's actually worse than the F word, by the way. What that sparked.
But we're talking about, and I don't even think New Year's 6 is a Notre Dame standard. If we want to bring it back to, one person I respect, Lou Holtz, it's really, I think the standard is, and I know that playoffs are getting expanded to 12 teams or 90 teams, whatever they do.
Yeah.
But it really is being that top 4 for Notre Dame. That's the expectation. And they're not close this year. Not the top 4.
Yeah.
So that's just the problem.
Yeah, and it's obvious, but they need to figure out some solutions. And after this year, if Marcus wants to make this work, it is his reputation as a head guy. He's got to make some really rough decisions. He's got to kind of be a jerk and tell people he loves, you got to go. Like, that's kind of where we're leaning at here.
And that's tough. And that's tough to do at 35 years old.
Yeah.
He's not a 51-year-old head coach.
Yeah.
You know, he has to tell people, you know, sorry, you didn't work out for us.
Yeah.
And then maybe never talk to them again. You know, I don't know how it goes, but yeah, so that's it. But I'll be listening all week. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, man.
I know how to donate now. So
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good one.
All right, see ya.
See ya. Oh, my word. Man,
come on, guys.
These are rough. These are rough.
I'm deleting comments from people I like. Stay out of the politics.
Yeah.
And John Hoosier just got thrown out. I don't know if you saw that, but I can't.
No, I didn't. I didn't see it.
You would be okay if you saw what he said.
Okay. Well, then spare me. I got enough problems tonight. You know what I mean? 6262 talking to you. What's going on?
Absolutely embarrassing.
That is correct.
I mean, to me, it's the same thing, different year. I mean, we saw this year in and year out with Brian Kelly, and I mean, nothing's changed. I mean, what's the bigger picture that's going on here behind the scenes?
Yeah, that's the man, that hit me quick, man. I was upset about the moment tonight, but then after the show started, it really started sinking into me that this one result opens up a whole bunch of those big picture problems. And that is the scariest part of this, because you're not close. If you're anywhere close to where this needs to be, this night never happens. If you're anywhere in the ballpark of being close, this never happens to you. And it happened. And I'm scared of that. It's awful.
I definitely agree with you. I think step one, I mean, it's gotta be, I mean, Schwarber, he needs to be gone. I mean, you gotta have somebody who wants the best for all athletes across the board at Notre Dame, not just about the money. I mean, you gotta have somebody in there who wants to see his team succeed. And Schwarber, I just don't think he's that guy. I think as an AD, he's just looking for ways to make Notre Dame money, and it's just embarrassing as a fan to see that play out.
Oh man,
Swarbrick is done. He's retiring.
Yeah, Swarbrick is leaving next year. Like, I mean, whatever. I don't know what you're going to get out of Petey Babakwa there. But I just can't. Oh yeah, Andrew. Hey, and I'm glad we're getting to the point now where we can laugh at our own misery. John, that line was Chris Farley and Billy. That is correct. When they're doing the thing and she's taking, never mind. We won't get into that. Caller, let me tell you this. This is so far off the grid of like on the low end of what it could be that it is uncorked a whole litany of questions, big picture and small, that I never wanted us to have to address on this program. But they're all fair. They're all real. They're all here. And Notre Dame's in trouble the rest of this year. They are in trouble. This is the Titanic, and Jack's sinking to the bottom of the ocean. It ain't good.
I definitely agree. I mean, call me crazy, but I think the first step tomorrow afternoon, all them players, all them coaches, they got to get out there and run some suicides. I mean, mentally, they just got to get it together. And I think they need to reevaluate that offense. Maybe give Gino, the quarterback coach, some leeway into what the play calls are going to be, because I just don't think Parker is the guy. I mean, this is the third week in a row where play calling has just been questioned, and in my opinion, it's been atrocious.
You got to do something.
What happens next?
See, here's the thing, man. You're right about it. Here's where I'm at with this. This is not a moment where Freeman can get up there and just go, if we execute a little better, we get a different result. Like our plan, that's the issue I want to focus on. You can't say, oh, our plan was pretty good. If we just execute a little better, we'll get a win next time. No, your plan was garbage. Your effort was garbage. Your discipline was garbage. Your adjustments were garbage. Your execution was garbage. It was all bad. None of it's good enough. You don't have nothing to lean on.
Yeah, it was definitely across the board. And as a fan, it's just embarrassing because I feel like we get hyped up every year because, you know, we get a big win or we start the season 4 or 5-0, and even the media starts hyping up Notre Dame, and then we just get a huge letdown like tonight, and it's just embarrassing to be a fan of.
Yeah, man, this one, when I've been saying all night, this one's off the grid. That's what I mean. Like, this is so far gone that it is like red. There's just red flags going off everywhere in my brain. Small picture, big picture, this area of the team, that area of the team, the present, the future. It's all really, really bad. And it's so unacceptable at this point. But to have an offense with the 6-year quarterback getting worse the more games they play and not better, you have major, major issues, and things need to change at practice. You cannot go out there and just do the same crap and expect a different result. I don't know if it's scheme, personnel, all of it, execution, effort. I don't know, but you got to change what you're doing because you're not getting a good enough result.
I definitely agree. And I just don't, I mean, what happens next? I mean, does this turn into a 2014 season where we start off kind of hot and we finish the season 7-5 or 5-7 or 4-8 at this point? Like, who knows? I mean, the way we played tonight, I don't know if we're capable of beating anybody that's left on our schedule. I mean, we got to get it together.
No, man. Hey, when you're doing this, listen, when you're doing this, you can lose to anybody and it could snowball on you. And I'm telling you what, right now, the mood Notre Dame fans are in right now, if you let this kid come from USC and run circles around you at our place after this, you think this show's bad? What do you think it's going to be like next week? It's going to be, you got to get this right and figure it out. The only way to calm any of this down is to beat USC. And I don't know what the odds of that are rebuilding after this nightmare. You got to tear it all down and start from nowhere.
Definitely. I mean, I think just looking at next week, I mean, tackling's been atrocious all season. And with a guy like Caleb Williams, as much as, I mean, I hate SC and everything, but I mean, he's a hell of a ball player. And if you can't tackle kids from Louisville or Duke or even Ohio State, I mean, tackling's been atrocious all year. I mean, what's the reigning Heisman winner going to do to you? I mean, look what he did to us last year. He just ate us alive. And it just scares me. I mean, I could easily see next week being close, and I could easily see next week us losing by 30 points, and I just don't know what to expect.
Dude, it is just, man, this is just, there's no angle of this that makes me feel better. Like, that's the problem, dude. I'm really struggling to find the high end and something to buoy my hopes that we could tether to. I mean, I guess the defense overall, if an offense could help them out at all, the defense would keep you around. But I'm sick of those guys missing tackles early in games that could change the dynamic. I can't let them off with that either. God,
exactly.
Man, it's just rough. Man, I'm at a loss, man. This is beyond the pale of the bad. I just can't do it, man. This is just, it's the brutal of the brutal. I'm struggling with it.
Yeah, I think everything's got to be going to question. I mean, you got to reevaluate everything. I mean, you got one more game, you got a bye week. I mean, hopefully we can execute a lot better than we did this week. And I mean, you gotta look at everything from the outside perspective, looking in and just see where you're at. And
yeah,
if that results in you making changes, you make changes. I mean, I don't know.
Yep. It could get rough here. And this is going to be a very challenging week for all Notre Dame fans and the media and the staff. The heat is on, and it does not get easier in this moment. And guess what? You're in, Mark. No, I will not make out with you.
I'm dying.
Man, I'm glad we found something again tonight to make us laugh a little bit.
I'm going to go upstairs and watch it.
One of the funnier scenes in that movie is when the clown is doing stuff out by the pool and they show the blood coming out of the clown's mouth and everybody's
and then
having
he comes
a
up at the end
and the clown's laying there with blood coming out of his mouth.
Hey, I thought you thought I was dead.
Oh my God. Anyways, man, anything else? We're getting loopy here, man. I've already lost my mind. It's gone and it's never coming back. I'm losing it.
That's all I got for you.
Hey,
have a good night, and go Irish. I mean, see what happens.
Yep. Hey, man, whether it's good or bad, we're still gonna be here, man. It's oh man, Eric, you can't give the company to Eric. Conditioner is better. Oh man. Oh my God.
I just fell down and bumped my head.
Dude, the funniest things in that movie are the little things.
Oh,
when he gets the nudie magazines and one of them's just called Drunk Chicks. I just can't. That's all it says. does. He opens it. It's called Drunk Chicks. There's so many funny things there, man. Oh, 707. We're losing our minds. Make me feel better about it, 707.
Oh my God. I can't believe you're putting me on.
I'm losing it, man. I'm gone. Like, we're past the line of me being sane and me like being able to rationalize this stuff. I am at a loss, man. This was off the grid bad. Make it make sense. Give it to me, man. Make it make sense. Tell me.
Well, we didn't look like we wanted to play. That crowd was crazy, and that had a lot to do with our everything. I mean, they were loud as I've ever heard a crowd against Notre Dame. They never let up.
We did not match the moment. We never even came close to matching the moment, man. It really did. It felt vintage. Brian Kelly, big game, gotta have it. We never came close to matching their intensity at all.
Yeah.
And I can't live with that, dude. That's not execution or even scheme or anything. We didn't match their will to want to win that game. And I don't know how to process that.
Yeah, Hartman looked out of it the whole game. I was going to call up and say Hartman looked like Cartman, but,
hey, man.
It's just so sad. He looked out of it the whole game.
He looked like something was wrong with him. He looked like maybe he had the flu or something. The guy just didn't look like himself. He didn't have that normal pep on the sideline after we messed up. He was just,
I think he knew.
It all looked lame tonight.
Would you think I think he
Yeah,
knew.
he looked very distracted from the get-go. He just didn't have the focus. And his eyes, you could see it in his eyes. He didn't have that killer instinct and that confidence that you usually, well, at least the first 4 weeks we saw. He just didn't have it in him. And I don't know if he's getting frustrated with the offensive coordinator. It could be that because the guy's not letting him throw. I think he finally threw a bomb and no one was there because there was no one supposed to go deep. And I think he was so pissed off that he's not allowed to go deep that he finally just threw a bomb and said, look, I can make that throw long. Let's try and get somebody out there. Maybe that was it. But I don't know. It seems like they're and the defense is, this is tough and they're on the field a lot of times. And these refs don't help with these ticky-tack face masks. I mean, both of those face masks, that 37-yard gain by Evans, and a face mask 12 yards behind the play. I mean, come on, that wasn't even a decent face mask. He let go after about a half a second. So, that took away 37 yards when the game was still 11 points. So, I hate to blame the refs though, because they weren't good tonight. They just, as a entire team, the only good guy was the field goal kicker, the guy you hate.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. That guy ended up being the bright spot for me tonight. Did you see by how many yards he could have made that? Wow. Oh my God, dude. I am so miserable that I'm getting loopy. Have you ever been so mad that you start laughing? I feel like Walter White in Breaking Bad in the crawl space when he realizes the wife gave all the money to her side piece and he's laying there and he's so upset that he laughs because it's all over. I'm at that point. Dude, it could never be like this year. It couldn't, if they were going to ever lose a game or two this year, man, it couldn't be like this. Like how it looks matters. You got nothing going. You got nothing cooking.
Yeah.
You got nothing.
I think it was the first time I ever just fast forwarded to get to the end of the game because I couldn't take it, When it was 33-10, I was just like fast forwarding. I couldn't even watch them because I couldn't stand listening to the crowd, and that announcer was just overjoyed with Notre Dame's failure. That Tessitore. I think he went to Boston College. I think he's an Eagle guy, so I don't think he was.
The narrative was this is Louisville's home Super Bowl. They were all excited every time Louisville did anything. They loved it. They loved it.
Oh, yeah. It's usually the way it is, especially when you have ESPN doing games.
So let me ask you this, though. Where do you even begin to try and stabilize this with USC coming in a must-win prime time and all that, all of that? How do you even begin to try and right this ship with another big game coming you can't afford to get embarrassed in? How do you even right the ship this week? What would be on your list, man? What can you do? They're not good at anything. They don't do anything.
Yeah, it's hard to it's brain numbing right now because you just can't even think about what's next. But USC is going to roll over us because our offense is anemic. They don't see anything but a run plays on 3rd and long. It's like, come on, you gotta let this kid, you brought him in to throw the ball because we never had a passer, and now you're going for these 4 3-yard passes and 5-yard passes. That's what's got to change. Is this this coordinator? I don't think he's just nearly what we could have had. And I hate to always bring that up.
I know. But it wasn't his fault.
They're struggling.
It wasn't his fault that situation was weird and all that. And now we got the job was all bizarre and not ideal. And everybody knows that he won the first choice. And I feel weird about all that. But this is Notre Dame, and you need to run a real operation at Notre Dame. And you already got the head guy learning to do it on the fly. I don't think you can afford that many other ones, too. Who knows how to set up an offense? Anybody?
It's insane that you go from Tommy Rees to Gerard Parker, and it's like, who the fuck are these people? It's like, what are you doing? And everyone's going to say,
you killed me. I can't do that one. That was so clear. I can't do it, Joe. I love you, but I can't do it, bro. I love you, but I can't do it. All right, that's it, Pat. I think I got all the ones who paid. That'll be the last one. I think I got them, all the ones that I know that paid.
Okay,
And we've gone a full 2 hours, too.
Yeah, I got a parting shot for you.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Penguin, it's too hot for you out here, Mr. Penguin. You belong in the zoo.
Telling you, man. Oh, dude, I just can't. Pat, this is
Rodney's saying he paid. Did Rodney pay? Is Rodney?
Sorry, my phone line's already disconnected. Rodney, I'm sorry, man. I got 40 other calls and I must have missed it, dude. I owe you.
This turned into a fun show, believe it or not.
I owe you,
Billy
Rodney.
Madison is one of the greatest movies of all time.
I am not, Pat. I'm telling you, I'm not myself, Rodney. I didn't feel like I didn't do that to you on purpose, man. I'm sorry. So yeah, I don't know. It was just
sorry, Tom. We're wrapping up, bud.
Just rough. Yeah, we've gone over 2 hours, and I still have a lot of work to do. I got articles to write. I got all. I got a tea time at 9 a.m. with a bunch of Notre Dame haters. I'm gonna every putt I miss, it's gonna be a Ben Morrison missed tackle. Yeah. It's just everything's bad. They're not good at anything. They're trending the wrong way. They're getting bad.
I don't
worse.
think the defense is trending the wrong way. Look at this, John. Go back to the start of the season, the conversations we had. What did we say? What concerned us? The defense concerned us, not the offense. And what's the problem right now? The defense did everything it could to keep us in its game. It got put back to the wall, and that's where all those points came from.
Yeah.
The defense is playing well. I think they got to work on the tackling, some of the penalties, but I think the defense is starting to come around. I actually see progression from the defense. I'm seeing regression from the offense, and I 100% think it's a coaching issue.
Yeah, you got problems all over the staff right now, and there's no answers.
Hell,
and
even outside of Bothello, even the defensive line I thought was playing well. And I've not been an Al Washington fan at all, but I thought they put some pressure on that guy. They actually got sacks.
Yeah, man, it's really, really hard to judge a defense too when the offense is that bad. It skews the whole situation, and yeah, it really does. It skews the whole situation. When you're in that setup, even if the defense is hanging in there, it doesn't feel like it because any mistakes exaggerated because of the dynamic.
Exactly. You knew Notre Dame was going to give up something to that team at some point because that defense was getting gassed. They were out there too much.
Yeah.
depth and rotation is great, but when you're playing for most of the third quarter, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's so you guys, Notre Dame's in a really rough spot. And you got a brutal game coming up, and it was a must-win before. I mean, I don't know if it's a must-win. It's a must-win now to avoid more embarrassment, but for anything national, you're done. Don't worry about that. This is about embarrassment of your, saving your reputation at this point. So Notre Dame's got a lot to work on, and they have a lot of questions to ask. And none of the answers could be, we just need to do what we're doing and execute it better next time. No, what you're trying to do does not work. You're not good at it. You don't execute it. You're not doing a good job. The plan is crap. The execution's crap. The energy was crap. It's all just rough, man.
The kicker was good.
Yeah, great. Cool. Why couldn't he be against Ohio State? Like, sorry, dude. Good job. Yeah, the other thing, that punter, dude, he ain't good. He ain't getting a hold of them. And you could hear it. It's like a golf drive. You can hear when it's flushed and you know when it isn't. Like,
you're right.
He ain't hitting them. He line drive 1-2. It got to him, and then he was hitting them side. I just don't like any of it.
Yeah,
the regression on special teams is real, by the way.
Oh, it's very real.
The coverages, the returns, it's all getting worse. They don't get after.
Why are we fair catching kick returns at the 10-yard line? I mean,
they're regressing in special teams hardcore, and I got made fun of when I got mad about Mason. Everybody said, "John, it's just special teams. Don't worry about it." Anyways, awful night. But I appreciate you all being here. I don't have a solution, man.
I still think it's a 3. So at the beginning of the year, I said it was a 3-loss team.
Too many problems fighting Irish faithful. There are too many problems that are all tangentially tied together for me to be able to figure out solutions this week. If it was 1 or 2 things, I would have a better idea. And we all were to be like, here's how we can address these angles. When you have so many things that are so bad, that's what makes it hard. I don't know where to start because you got problems all over. Very rough night for Notre Dame. Very rough night for Freeman. There's some soul searching that needs to be done. None of this is good enough. It's unacceptable. If you want to nail me because I like Freeman and you want to nail me for that, go for it. The LSU people are killing me tonight. I deserve it. That's fine. It is what it is.
I don't know what they're spiking the football on.
Me, because I run my mouth about Kelly No, I deserve it, Pat. No, I deserve it.
I don't know. They still have a garbage football team.
Pat, you haven't seen my tweets. I deserve it. Just trust me when I admit. Okay. Trust me when I admit I deserve to be trolled by the LSU people tonight. I've gone at them hard. I went at them hard all day, and I deserve it. So they're nailing me. Andrew, thank you very much. And Pat, you know what's weird about the call-in tonight? All the callers were way more drunk for Ohio State. These people were all with it.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't get the drunk people like we did after Ohio State. I don't know why. Maybe people just weren't in the mood to drink after a while.
Probably because you're only taking people who were doing donations because of the call list, and the drunk people were too drunk to actually give money.
Yeah, maybe that could be. All right, you guys. So what I'm going to do next is Pat's going to go to sleep so he can play golf in the morning.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and record a miserable episode to post first thing in the morning. So I'll break this down and then write an article about how bad it was and go to bed about 3 a.m. I got a lot of work to do, and I got to be honest, I am not looking forward to it. Thank you, everybody. Again, we broke records tonight on the numbers.
Oh, that was huge.
All of the wrong number. We almost got to a grand, Pat.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a monster.
Yeah, we had 9 something. We almost got to a grand. It is depressing to me that the biggest numbers I get are all when I am out of my mind with depression. But that's the way this goes, and everybody likes to see somebody mad. I get it, okay? I get it.
You know, I'll say to the Ohio, like, there's still a ton of Ohio State.
Do you know how offensive that is, Pat? Do you know how offensive that is?
Why do you even acknowledge it?
Because it makes me mad. But dude, like, I build all this out and do all this and take all the calls, deal with extra bullshit in the chat more than any other Notre Dame show does. I try and be like with all that. No matter what happens, it's never good enough, man. I just can't win. So if that's all I care about anymore, take your freedom and go somewhere else. See if I give a shit. All right, I'm out of here before I say something I'll regret. Goodbye, everybody. Pat, thank you for being here. Shoot good tomorrow,
Always, brother.
okay? Play good golf.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
see.
you, guys. See ya.